Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
All right, people, welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast. I am here with a very special guest. He was this year's, well, I guess this past year's, it's 2020 now, but WNBF world champ. My man, introduce yourself to the people. Tell them what you're all about, and we'll dive right in.
So I'm Kendahl Richmond. I am 24 years old, two-time WNBF world champion, and also the 2019 overall world champion.
So sick.
Yeah, I know, right? So a little about myself. I got into bodybuilding pretty much a few years ago in the year of 2018. That was my first show. I know, yeah. I've only done 4 shows.
Dude, what the hell?
Yeah, my first show was a pro qualifier, which is the Muscle Mayhem, locally in Sacramento. So I became a pro with that first show. And then, that was 2017. Yeah, 2017. Okay. 2018, I'm sorry, no. Yeah, 2017. 2018, I did Muscle Mayhem again as a pro. And then that same year, I did Worlds for the first time. And then I won Muscle Mayhem as a pro. And then I won Worlds for heavyweight. And I came as a runner-up behind Bubba Carr for the overall.
And he's nuts.
And then so I was pretty much like on a mission to get him for 2019.
Right.
So 2019, he wasn't there unfortunately. Hopefully he's there in 2020. But 2019, only show was Worlds. So I came in there, won the show, and then my confidence was just through the roof, and I just went ahead and took the whole thing. So it was really nice. Man,
that's quite the resume already.
I know, yeah. Bodybuilding wise, yeah.
How's that feel? Be honest. Like you feel like you're kind of the man, honestly?
Yeah, I do, but at the same, I'm so humble. It's just like, you know, I'm never really, I'm content with what I've accomplished and the accolades I've done, from training, my business, to bodybuilding.
Yep.
But I'm someone that's like, I'm never really satisfied with my capability.
Yep.
I always feel I can do more, and it's not like in a way to where I'm like not happy. It's like it's
chasing more, just chasing more.
Yeah, like I feel like if I'm completely comfortable, I wouldn't even acknowledge to myself what else I can do. Like, what if I can do it 3 times, or what if I can, you know what I mean? So it was definitely like I was speechless. Like even flying back with the overall Heisman Trophy looking.
Yeah.
It looks like a Heisman Trophy, the overall trophy,
right.
And then the medal, and then to like fly back with social media blowing up, and just you know, it was just like I was speechless. But at the same time, I was acting like I knew it was going to happen. If that makes sense. Like I was pretty confident in my prep and the process of it, to where I feel like I can do it again. You know, so that kind of feeling always like drives me to like want to always move forward, knowing what I've done without having to like feel like I'm the shit or I'm the man. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
No, that's awesome. So let's go back. Let's go back to what got you into bodybuilding. And I'm curious as to what's made you pursue it in the natural realm versus going the other way.
So I can go on pretty well with this. So one of the reasons why I even got into bodybuilding was because of the fact that I wanted to see my capability. I was pretty naturally gifted. Yeah. I worked hard for my physique, so I was like, okay, why not? And then when I saw the reception I got just from doing one show, even as an amateur, I felt like this is something I can pursue to be an influence. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one guy that everyone thinks, you know, oh, you can be IMBF, or you're unnatural, or you take this and that, right? Yep. But realistically, I literally have just been blessed with a few genetics, but in a way to where I just built from that and became who I am today. So I wanted to pursue in bodybuilding to show guys that, hey, if you give yourself years, you acknowledge yourself on good knowledge, you approach the gym with no ego, and you go in there and you like purposely try to build you try to build a physique and not just go in there thinking you're the alpha male of the gym.
Yep.
And if you're yourself patient for years, you can really come out. It doesn't matter if you're if you're not genetically gifted or your penis position is not necessarily aesthetic or this and that. You can still build a physique, even if it's square or nothing like that. So I want to always be the representation, and because I don't do it for notoriety. If it was notoriety, I would have been IBB Pro. I would have been did that kind of stuff, and had the following, and had the sponsors, and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But I'd rather just like, if that happens, cool. But I'd rather just like have the respect aspect of it, and like let guys look at me as an influence and inspiration, and the fact that I'm staying that way and I'm true to it, rather than going this way because I get more attention or I get more following.
Yeah, or more money or whatever.
Right.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. So I want to ask you about your, I guess, like training style and methods and how you approach it. Like, obviously, what you've accomplished in such a short amount of time, yes, a lot of it's genetics, but talk to me about your approach to training and, you know, where you got your knowledge from and who you look up to.
So I do listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of book reading. I do like the guys from 3DMJ. I do follow Elliot Holst. He's a really good guy.
Cliff Wilson.
Yeah, he's good too.
Yep.
Lane.
Lane.
It's Elliot Holst, and it was what's his name? Something Czech.
Paul Check.
Paul Check is a good one. As well as Athlete X here and there, and but I was really big on Elliot Holst, Paul Check.
Elliot Holst goes way back. That's like I remember being in high school.
I feel like I related to Elliot Holst because he was just a big guy.
Yeah,
he was very knowledgeable and smart.
Yep.
So he talked in a way to where it was elaborate and detailed, but he was relatable because he wasn't just some lean, smart guy. He was actually a big dude.
Yeah,
he was
strong
all
as
about
shit.
Strength. Yeah, he was all about strength, and it was I was too. So he was all about the barbells, which I love barbells. So I feel like I kind of connected with him more.
Yep.
I had a lot of information with him. Some of it played a part in experience. Just kind of like learning from myself. I read some books here and there. It was more of like visually learning from guys like Elliot, Paul, certain YouTubers. 3DMJ was here and there, some podcasts, and just kind of viewing it and then using it in my training, experiencing myself with it, and just kind of surrounding myself by that knowledge. Yep. I was never really, and I wanted to major in kinesiology as well. So like book knowledge plays a little bit of it, but a lot of it was pretty much experience and just visually learning, seeing their perspective in certain things, and then kind of seeing it on my own. So with that, when I train, I'm all about barbells, compound lifts. I'm all about volume, negatives, tempos. I'm all about tempos, like slow negatives. Slow concentrics, isometric holds, all that kind of just anything that deals with the blood and the contraction of the muscle and the shape of the muscle, and it kind of shaped around all those guys in one. Athlete X, Elliot, Paul.
Yeah.
Now from Paul from corrective, Elliot from like strength and personal development, Athlete X more like. With the physiology and all the science and diagrams and stuff, to 3DMJ, which they were speaking from their experience with natural competitors. So I kind of just balled up everyone's kind of information and kind of made it my own.
That's awesome. So you kind of just took the best of everything and made like a super hybrid out of it.
Right, and I kind of just like and I was already pretty knowledgeable from my kinesiology major. To where I was already pretty knowledgeable in certain aspects, and they kind of piggyback on what I've already known.
Yep.
And then just using all my training and applying it and experiencing with stuff, corrective exercises to trying the different diet structures. I realize my body reacts to this. Maybe this might be someone else's reaction. You know what I'm saying? Or this and that, and then kind of applying it. And then next thing you know, it's relatable, and I can kind of see where my experiences can be of use, and then using it in my training, and just trying different structures and kind of just feeling how what else, what from different strategies that are popular, from keto diets to
Yep.
5x5s and this and that, and then getting my take on it, and then kind of just stuff like that.
Yeah, that's huge, right? Like, I still think people are trying to find the perfect thing when, it's not always that low carb is better than high carb is better than keto. It's not always that 5x5 is better than high volume versus low volume, right? Like, you've got to try shit and you figure out what works for you. Just like you said, you got to pick and choose and like experiment, right? Like, experiment what works for you. Maybe carb cycling works for you. Maybe low carbs works for you. Maybe keto works. Whatever, right? Everybody's different, and people forget that.
And that's what I realized, is that carb cycling was my bread and butter. Like that, I'm a big guy, and the fact that I hold a lot of glycogen and I hold a lot of shape and muscle belly.
Yep.
I mean, you see me on my stage look. My muscle bellies are pretty developed at a young age, so carb cycling worked well for me because I just hold a lot of glycogen and a lot of fullness in my shape.
Got a lot of room.
Yeah, I try intermittent fasting. I try a little bit of keto, but I feel like with my frame and the amount of muscle I carry, because I have a pretty high amount of muscle mass at my age. And
what were you on stage?
On stage at the recent World was my best look ever.
Yeah.
And I came on stage at 202.4 pounds.
What's peak off season for you?
Right now I walk around fairly 238.
And still look reasonable.
Pretty lean, pretty full, not fluffy. I don't try to get that heavy.
Yep.
Even when I was taking the year off of 2019 before World, I was just keeping a good 238. I think when I hit 240, I get round and I get fluffy. And
lose the look.
I don't believe in the whole get dirty bulk and getting fluffy just to build muscle. I don't believe in that. I think you can still be fairly lean, but still be thick and be at a surplus without having to look like you're just like a rounded blimp,
Especially, I agree with you, and especially once you're kind of like when did you start training? How old were you?
Training seriously?
Yeah.
About 16.
Yeah, so you're approaching 10 years in the game, same as me, right? Like, I think the years of getting fluffy, as we call it, like, maybe when you're younger, you can maybe get away with it, and you're still figuring shit out. But once you're, at the level you and I are at, where it's 10 years of training, you've got a couple shows under your belt, getting fat basically is not conducive to anything. It's just an excuse to eat shit.
Right, exactly. I agree. And I think once you kind of experience yourself because I can be at a surplus, and this is how I structure my off season. Is my meals are just larger than what they normally are.
Yep.
Now they're not the typical prep diet meals and foods, but they're the lean protein sources like chicken or fish or this and that are similar. I may add some added carbs. I may add some sodium sauces or different variations.
Yep.
At the same time, I eat fairly the same. It's just larger portions, and I do have one free meal. So it's like I have on prep. I have like this recent prep. I did 5 meals a day. Off season, I typically have 4 because I don't need to be at that high of a metabolic rate to be at an off season because I'm trying to thicken. Yeah. So I should be keeping myself breaking down food that fast if I'm trying to build some size. Yep. So I eat 4 meals, and I have one free meal. And that one free meal means it can be Jack's or it can be something that's outside of a cooked meal. You know what I mean?
Is that per day?
It's not. Say it again.
Is that 1 meal per day?
Yeah, and it's not typically like fast food, like a McDonald's meal. It can be something that's it can be at a restaurant.
Yeah.
It can be, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a good way to keep my body and my insulin response high and just kind of keep my body in shock because it's unfamiliar with the structure. And I think that's been working pretty well for me, to get those added calories in and that sodium kick and just other outside ingredients that my cooking doesn't really.
Yeah, and just a change of taste and flavor and stuff, right? I know, my off season's very similar in that I have these habits of foods that I like, foods that I eat that, just carry on from prep to off season. Just quantities differ. But like you said, like once in a while, it's like, I'm feeling bacon and eggs for dinner, right?
Yeah,
like,
and it's
not
really cool.
Yeah, it's not like disgusting. Like I think after a while, like when you're in bodybuilding for so long, like you kind of lose that desire for shitty food. Like once in a while, it's fine, but like sometimes it's just like I'm used to chicken and I'm just gonna have a steak tonight. Like that stuff, and it tastes unreal because you're not having it so much.
Right. I agree, and I feel like it's a healthy approach. It's intuitive. It's not strict. You're living a healthy life. You're working out. You're building muscle. You got a surplus, but you're not acting like you're on prep. You're not eating the same chicken and broccoli and rice every day. You're keeping things interesting, and I feel like that's a good way to be able to keep your body at a healthy state and not be at too much of a deficit. Because there's not many calories in a steak or a lean or like a chicken breast. And,
it's not going to
there's not many calories unless you just add a lot of stuff to it, seasoning, sauces, added ingredients, I don't know, wheat wraps, or I don't know, whatever you want to do. Unless you add all that kind of stuff with it, it's just going to be a reasonable amount of calories unless you get it from somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really like just another meal, right? But yeah, it might be a little bit higher, but it's not going to send you, if you're like a 3,500 surplus, that's like a nice surplus. It's not going to send you to 5,000 like if you went out and ate something shit.
Right. Exactly. And I train a few guys who are going to do shows, and they're in a phase now where they are leaning out. But we have diet breaks. We have little carb loads and stuff like that. Where I tell them, hey, go get sushi. You know what I'm saying? Hey, go get this and that. Yeah, to where all that sodium kick just soaks up all the glycogen in your muscle, and you get this ridiculous amount of pump from it because your diet was structured and you're trusting your body to eat these foods, but strategically, not just like you're just eating a bunch of you're eating a bunch of crap all day, but you're structurally prioritizing to where your body can have it, and then you get a lot from it. Same thing as like doing a show, and the day before you have Five Guys when you're like dry. You just wake up like
disgusting.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Talk to me about your approach in prep. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you prep yourself, do you not?
Yes.
So tell me about how you structure prep, how many weeks out you typically do. Like, what's your design here? So
I learned a lot about my body, my recent show, because I had 3 shows behind me. So my fourth show and my third show, I started prep nearly just about a little bit before 3 months out. I think like 12 weeks for me, 3 months of prep is a good stage to be in.
Okay.
So when I take it seriously, I may start at like 14. Like I may start my diet and this and that, but 12 weeks out is when I typically get in a phase where, like I slowly build up my cardio week by week. I slowly bring my calories a little bit down, but I strategically prioritize my weeks as the show is closer to where my body's naturally getting familiar with the deficit, and I'm not just going no carbs out of nowhere, and then my body holds on to water because it's like, what are you doing, So 12 weeks out, I can slowly bring my calories down, bring my carbs down on my carb loads and stuff like that. And I typically go like a 3 day low and then 1 high on my carbs. Typically for me, I'm a big dude, but I feel like for me, a good rate I was at to start with was like what I do this time. I think I did 180 on my lows, and then my highs were about like 300, 320. And then as the show became closer, it got to 120 or 100 on my lows, and then highs were about 200, 220. And I had to really play the guessing game because I'm on my own. And it wasn't by choice. I did, after having shows behind my back, and this was like worlds, I'd rather just kind of stay with what I'm familiar with, but change a few things out. And I gave myself a 3 day rule where it's like, okay, I'm going to change something, and then 3 days, if I see a certain change, I'm going to stick with it. Or if I see myself my stomach protruding and I'm getting rounder in the waist. Okay, we can't do that. We gotta put the fats back in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So just a lot of trial and error. You know, cutting salmon out at one point from loading my water to 2 gallons, increasing my cardio up to almost 2 hours
a day.
But at the same time, I was eating more. I went from four meals my third show to 5 meals this show.
Oh wow!
And my ounces were higher. It was like 70 ounces, way more portion sizes. My green veggies, of course, and everything. And then my carbs. I was having more carbs. So I wasn't necessarily dead on this prep.
Yeah.
It was actually a lot better, smoother prep. But the cardio was up because I wanted to come in more fuller and more lean.
Right.
So I ate more, but the cardio was higher because of that. And at the same time, my water was 2 gallons, so I kept my body at a nice homeostasis to where I wasn't just stressing myself out too much. And it worked out pretty good. I was actually very surprised with, especially the last 2 weeks. That was the hardest because then it's like my cardio's down at that point. And now it's like, okay, what do I strip this out? Do I take this out? Do I drop my water? I never dropped, and people ask me about this on my show, I never dropped my 2 gallons of water until like 2 days out. That's when I was dropping it. Because at that point, my body was at like I said, I kept homeostasis pretty well to where I didn't need to drop water. And I was looking like I was already 2 days out, a month out of my show. So I wasn't going to really change much. I just changed my carbs here and there, went straight tilapia, and just tilapia, had my carbs steady. And then, for example, just planning out ahead, like off the plane, I knew I was going to hold the water, which I did. So I did a little bit of cardio, had a little bit of carbs, and used my carbs to save for after the cardio, just a lot of that kind of stuff, really.
Yeah, just being smart with your decision making, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what bodybuilding is just making smart decisions at the right time.
And the right time is correct. It's like for example, the day before the show, I purposely saved 60 ounces of water for the Five Guys burger, and all my carbs were pulled away, and I saved all the carbs for the fries with my burger at my last meal, and had 8 ounces to push the water, push the carbs in, and then like this is worlds, by the way. I'm by myself. This is worlds. This can go wrong in any way.
That's stressing me out, man.
I know, right? Yeah. So I had 8 ounces of water, drunk it, had the medium fry, had the burger, no cheese, just
and no cheese. It's always no cheese.
I felt my heart race, and I was like, Kendall, just sleep on it. Let's see how we wake up. Woke up, and I was around the money. So it was. Yeah,
I went to so here in Canada, the IMBF, WNBF, all our shows. So I'm in Ontario, it's like Central Canada. All our shows are out west, which is like an 8-hour flight. So it's ridiculously expensive. So I just drove down to New York, which is like 3-hour drive for me, and competed down there. And that was my first like IMBF show. So I got my first taste of it. And I did the exact same thing. 5 Guys the night before, had some water, did a little bit posing that night just to kind of get it moving. And then I woke up morning of the show just like, yep, this worked.
Yeah, and it can only be done right if you're ready. Like if you're lean.
Yeah, you got to be peeled.
You gotta be thin. Like you gotta be thin skinned. It's to the point to where 3 weeks out you're ready.
Yeah.
And you're literally skating out the rest of the 3 weeks, and you're so dry and you're so just lean and aesthetic to where that 5 Guys is just gonna load you up perfectly.
Yeah, like when you get up and like you literally just like hit a quick flex and like the veins start flowing, like upon waking, you know you're good. Then and you just carb up even more.
Right. And the day of the show was a little stressful for me too because of how often I was eating. And for example, stage is at 9 a.m.
Yep.
I'm gonna get up at 5.
Yep.
Okay, and I had like English muffin just to get some sodium and get some potassium in me, and just and I had of course a little bit of carbs. Didn't use much protein because I'm not trying to thicken out. I'm not trying to hold on to any weight or nothing like that. Had the English muffin, had like the oats, and fell asleep on it. Woke up an hour later. Checked my physique. Like I said, no coach, no one to really look at me, right? So I'm just literally guessing. I'm like, okay, I'm like taking videos of me at 6 a.m. Saved the video. Woke up at 7. Took the video again. and just like, okay, so I got to go pack and get my stuff. Okay, so I got, so I'm going to go have another oats and almond butter so the fats can slow down the carbs. And that way, a few hours later, the fats are going to start to load me from the oats. Yep. And then, like, okay, had a little Snickers bar before the show. Everything was just like, so hey, something could have easily went wrong. Having little sips of water just to push things down and just but we got it done. So it was.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Just by the sounds of it, it sounds like on prep you're pretty rigid. Like you follow like kind of a meal plan approach for yourself.
Yeah, I did. Every 3 hours I ate a meal. Woke up.
Yep.
You know, had my egg whites, had my spinach, blueberries, and almond butter. I think is what I had. And then 3 hours later, right? Okay, beep. I gotta have my next meal, and and I plan my workout structurally to where if I work out, it has to be in between that. That way, after my workout, I eat right away.
Yeah.
So if I eat at 11, I can't work out at 1 o'clock because I got to eat at 2. So it's like, so I'll have to rush my workout or whatever to when my meal is at 5, which is or 4, which is way too far out.
Yeah.
So I'll sit in my car or whatever I'm doing. I'll wait till the next hour.
Yeah, just waiting.
Yeah, just to eat. That way, I'm like, okay, as soon as I work out, I can eat. And I can get that meal out the way. That way, by 6, 7, or something like that, my meals are out the way. And so I was really structured to the point to where, like, I was fully invested. Like,
you gotta be, right, and that's why certain athletes excel and certain ones don't, right? There's that fine line between doing just enough to get to the stage and then doing those extra things, right? Like having it all timed out and having like, okay, I'm gonna train in this window because it's the best window to train for me, and making sure you get good sleep and all this stuff. It all adds up.
Right, of course, having a good support system.
Yep.
That was a huge help. But also just affirmations, man. I wake up and literally have the world's poster on my phone, just bam, right in my face, to where like it just reminded me. And I would literally wake up and like as I'm walking to the gym, getting my hoodie on, and I don't even think about it. Just put it on right as I walk out the door. It's dark outside, doing my faster cardio. I'm like speaking of affirmations, telling myself like, I am a champion. I will be at my best. Just constantly giving myself the confidence to move. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to wake up.
Yep.
You're the one that has to eat. You're the one that has to cook and all that kind of stuff. So that really helped me a lot too. Listening to like, some of LHX podcasts about like personal development and self improvement. Yep. And just how to talk to yourself and how to speak in existence and all that. So
no, it's amazing, man. That stuff helps for sure. Talk to me a little bit about your business. Obviously, you're doing well for yourself. So you do personal training. Looks like kind of that's your main shtick, and then you're starting with the online stuff, doing good too.
Yes, I do Coach K training, and I kind of started that. I didn't really get serious with it until about 3-4 years ago, yep. And I had a client that was a graphic designer for me, my logo, and I got my business license, got my insurance, contracting, and I've always had a thing for training. I used to work at 24 Hour Fitness, and I always wanted to pursue and be my own boss and do my own thing. I never really was a 9-to-5 guy. I never was a person that was like to make someone else money, to work under somebody. I was always just that leader. That I want to do my own thing.
Yep.
So I did Coach K training, and the shows helped out, of course, as far as word of mouth.
Totally.
But just really have a love for bringing the best out of people and allowing them to see the best version of themselves, as I have myself.
Yep.
And Ellie would always say this, best version of yourself. He would always speak that kind of language, and I really look up to Elliot, and just kind of brought out all of me to my clients and just kind of like showed empathy. Now I'm at the point to where I'm big enough to where people come to me and I'm like the person to come to, and it's like, oh, you're Coach K, I want to train with you, and
you got that name brand.
Right, and I have my website, you show testimonials and all the pictures, and as you can see, I have my new apparel coming out, and I have a guy who does photography, a video shooter. I got like a little team around me to like put out content, and eventually my goal is to have my own asset, my own studio building to where I can run Coach K training in an independent gym, a private gym to where it's like a well-rounded gym. You know, got your typical equipment, a little space for athletic purposes, and this and that, and that's like my ideal goal to pursue in my own building. And lead with that, as well as like train clients for shows here and there. I did 2 girls last year, and both of them got first. No, one of them got first in their first show. The other one got third, and then they did another show, and they placed like second and fourth, I think.
Awesome.
I have 2 guys this year want to do shows. I have a guy online want to do a show. So I also want to be more of a prep coach because I feel like, you know, those clients are the most interesting as well. Like they have that kind of. They're that driving force to where they actually, you know, and it's more of like an investment of you to like put in more effort with them.
For sure.
So yeah, just few online clients and a good amount of in-person clients, and just trying to put out a lot of content for guys.
100%, man.
That, you know, on my platforms, and just a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat as you. Just trying to do the best of everything, right? And pump that stuff out on YouTube and podcasts and Instagram and everything like that, and just build that, like you said, that brand. Like you get to the point where people aren't going to X gym anymore. They're going to see you specifically. It's not because you work here. It's because they want you.
Right.
That's awesome, man. Are you like self-employed under this gym, or do you just rent it? Like, how does that work for you right now?
So I just rent the gym space for now.
Yep.
And using their space to run my business to eventually, you know, build up the funds and everything else to where I can eventually move out and get my own gym and get my own equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I just want to close this out with asking you just some quick, rapid questions just to finish this off.
Yeah.
Favorite body part to train?
Legs. Favorite
exercises for legs?
Ooh, barbell back squat, and this is funny because like everyone hates this one, but Bulgarian split squats.
Ooh, dumbbell, Smith, how you doing it?
Dumbbell, like one dumbbell on the leg, the foot that's back. You're holding the dumbbell, and you're just like a nice deep motion, pressing up with the heel. That's a really good one for the glute and hammy tie. That's like the best one you can do.
Yeah, and it hurts like hell.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's a really good one for that. When you hit that side chest and you got that nice split,
favorite pose?
Ooh, that's a real hard one, man. It's probably got to be the mantis pose.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, the mantis pose, the Frank Zane pose. I love Frank Zane. You know, he was a big influence for me. Like that Frank Zane pose.
Oh yeah.
I love
money.
That one too. So it's got to be probably that one actually.
Hit black and white on the beach, classic.
Yeah. And I got in the vacuums a lot recently. Recently too because of him too. So Frank Zane was a huge influence for me.
That's awesome. Who are kind of like your top 2 or 3 bodybuilders that you kind of look up to today?
Breon Ansley. I mean, he's a huge influence by him because he has literally my physique.
Yep.
Like, I literally get my poetic style from him. Like, he was, like, the one that my routines, the way I pose, like, how fluid I am, and the way I, like, move, like, it's all Breon. Like, he really insinuated, like, my love for the art of posing.
Yeah.
To where, like, I move very fluently, and I'm able to, like, very slickly transition.
Sure.
So, Breon Hensley, Lee Haney. I love Lee Haney. He was a huge one. And I would say Flex Wheeler.
Cool.
Flex Wheeler. I loved his. I get my front lower bicep from him. I loved his like the way he would bring his thigh and the way he would pose and stuff like that. All these guys have a similar frame to me, so it was like a good feed off to use their stage appearance and then make it my own.
For sure, man. What's the go-to cheat meal? / refeed / carb up, whatever you want. Whatever people want to call it.
Sushi. I gotta say sushi, man.
Nice.
Gotta say sushi.
Awesome. What else can I ask you? What's 2 or 3 pieces of advice to someone just starting out in the bodybuilding world. They want to compete. They're new to the gym. They want to get things going. What do you tell them?
I would tell them to trust your body. One, have an approach in working out and training that best suits you and your work schedule. I say work schedule because, you can't be stressing your body too much if you work at a construction site. You know what I'm saying? You're just
100%.
literally you're just stressing your body out too much. So listen to your body, train accordingly to your lifestyle, and allow that to be your approach to the gym instead of being very, very hit on and yang. Take it steady. Focus on the technique, the negatives, the tempos. Drop the weight, get a feel of contracting the muscle, and eventually you'll build your nervous system to where you're used to the heavy stimuli of whatever you're doing and control because you listen to your body. So that's one. And two, surround yourself with good influences, man. Like just
huge.
Man, like this is not an egotistical sport. It's not something that it's all about you, even though you may think it is, right? It's not all about you. It's about who's around you, what you're trying to do with it. If you're trying to just do it for an accolade, a confidence booster, or whatever it is, and then the influences around you, allowing them to make this into a good personal development approach for you. Because I think bodybuilding is great for personal development, dude. Like seeing yourself at your lowest.
Yep.
Like seeing yourself at your most leanest and your most complete form you would ever see for one day, and it's gone the next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a beautiful thing to, like, really see yourself die to get to a certain look just to get that sensation on stage. So it's a huge personal development factor. So the influences around you are going to play a huge part in that. If your friends, if they're into personal growth, if you don't have the friends like that, YouTube's got plenty of people you can, like me, like I said, Elliot Holst and all them guys who always carry that around them, that energy.
Yep.
So I constantly will listen to like their videos or podcasts and keep myself in that kind of influence at my lowest. So definitely positive influences around you.
That's fantastic, man. That was a great way to close this out. Plug all your socials, man. Where can people find you?
Coach_K_training is my Instagram, and that's where my main platform and where I pretty much run all my stuff at.
Cool. So that'll be linked down below. Everybody, be sure to give this man a follow. Puts out a lot of great content. Obviously, a very high caliber athlete in the natural bodybuilding world. So give him a follow, show him some love, and thanks again, man. I appreciate you doing this. We'll have to hit this up again sometime soon.
Okay, that sounds good, man.
All right, man. Well, you have a good night, and like I said, we'll chat soon.
Okay, sounds good, man.
See you, buddy.